How's everybody doing tonight? This nice, dry, warm Saturday fall afternoon, huh? How we doing? Got the Paul Bunyan show going on over in Cambridge, Ohio. You East Coast boys, a couple of Canada boys, whatnot. Hope the show's going good and you guys are having a good time and all that. I sure hope to make it out there again sometime. I can't believe the turnout. It probably had twice, maybe three times the amount of people that we get here at the Oregon Logging Show, and it's maybe half of the size. I mean, it was pretty impressive how many people were there. So this last video I put out, I was really a little worried, but after the comments and whatnot, it seems that the mass, or most of you, understand where I'm coming from and get what I'm trying to say. And so, I mean, you guys have seen how quick can go from, this is great, to working for somebody else. So I would definitely stick around to see how the outcome comes on that, because it definitely changes. It's funny how the videos that I don't think are going to do all that good always seem to be the ones that get the best reaction out of the talking about the memories, the old school logging and stuff. I really just did that one, to try to get something up, because I hadn't had anything up in a couple of days. And I mean, and it's honestly, that's how I feel, and that's my passion. And I do think, and I wish I'd have been born 30 years earlier, 40 years earlier, and I get the best responses out of them. So definitely going to do some more of those, and when you're getting the true grit there, really. I mean, that's when I get honest and passionate about, in those videos, and start talking about logging, big tower logging, the old school days, when I broke in, the things I was taught, I still hang on to today, and I try to pass them down to the guys that I'm training. Even though this is a different time, things have changed. You can't be so hard on people or whatnot. But that doesn't, that doesn't change how I'm wired, or the way I was broke in. So, when I go to work, it's, I leave everything on the mountain every day. I don't do anything at night that could jeopardize me being there first thing in the morning. I don't ride dirt bikes on the weekends or anything like that, because what if I break my leg and I can't be there on the rigging, or for instance, so, like I say, that's just how I am, and there are a lot of guys like that, and a lot of guys are being trained nowadays not like that, and I'm not saying these guys are being trained wrong or anything, because there are a lot of good loggers that have just started in the last 3, 4, 5, 10 years or whatnot. I'm just saying that goes right along with the changes, in the flow, and it's. There was for instance, the other day, somebody, they said, you got to chill out, dude, and I'm like, that's not how it works. That's not how I am, and so. I think that part of the problem with the industry today is the mentality of they're here most of the time, or they show up every day. Just because they're here most of the time or show up every day doesn't make them a good hand. Now, with saying that, there are some guys that I've worked with that, if you kicked him in the butt and kind of pushed him this way instead of that way, they would go from, they do all right, they get it done, to, wow, those guys produce. So, yeah, I mean, that's something that has to be taken into consideration too, with everything. I do want to say, again, I was a little worried about, because basically I was bagging on O. James, and I was, and there was more to it than just the communication barrier. The communication barrier was not because I wasn't willing to learn. There was going to be some circumstances if I was going to learn sign language. But like I said, we already have a whole bucket full of hand signals for logging and stuff. The communication barrier was he wasn't aware of his surroundings. And I give him kudos for trying. I absolutely do. It's unsafe. And, part of what I get excited about is because I absolutely don't want to watch a man die or even get hurt. It's all fun and games until somebody pushes you over backwards into somebody else's poop, That's type of stuff that would happen, but that's what I'm saying. And yeah, I don't know if he was there because he wanted to be there or if he was there because he was made to be there. Be honest, but he does have my respect for at least trying. And it just, like I said, some issues the other day. It's very apparent that it's not going to work out. So, but kind of back to the old school stuff. And like I say, there's so much technology and advances and changes that we do today that very, very, very much so could have been benefited many years ago. And the same with a lot of, systems and things that they did in the attitude, and you work for, the, like meeting the crummy, and the crummy waits, 5 minutes for everybody, 6 minutes for nobody type mentality, stuff like that. Absolutely. And like I say, unless you've actually worked in, some old growth timber on a big tower that's got, a complete set of balls, and you're running a true wild bite North Bend system, or even a rider block, downhill rider blocking, or straight high lead shotgun, whatever it is, and I've meant many comments about, you can really tell there is a passion there, and it is fun. It absolutely, there's a rush, you're scared to death, you're going to die, but oh God, don't let it stop, because this is the best thing in the world. And in the same token, guys get 25, 30, 40 loads a day, old growth logging. It's pretty hard to get 10 loads a day today in this timber, but when you're putting 4 loads to a truck versus 50, so very much so have to give kudos to these guys nowadays that are getting 12, 15, 18, 20 loads a day in this type of timber, because they absolutely are humping to get it done. And it can be done, and like the 172 Medill. I mean, right there, that's the Dragon Wagon. It's a big boy and a little boy shell. And after the first couple of them come out and they demoed, and demoed and sold them, started running them out, and they ended up, because it's got a 5-speed electronic transmission, they ended up locking out first gear because it had too much power. And it was breaking lines. And I mean, absolutely snapping lines and brand new lines with no problem, because Medill, I don't want to say Medill was a superior yarder. because Medill ended up buying Thunderbird out, Ross Corporation, and the reason they did, the way I understand it, was for the 155, 255, 355 Thunderbird swing yarder machines, because the Thunderbirds, they were built for speed and power, and they were built with an extra layer of metal on them to last. They were put together thick and with lots of power and brute strength, to go with it. But the 172 Medill was, I dare say, a little bit of both. I think so, because they are badass machines. And then all of a sudden, here Medill comes out with the 124 and whatnot. And, they got those 044 and 088 Medill swing yarders up there in Canada. And there is a difference, Canadian-built yarder and a U.S.-built. There's not many of them 044s come around this area. They absolute were bad boy swing yarders. And they had the same size frictions and water brakes and drums as the big towers did. And some of those guys didn't even guy them back, and they were logging old growth on just sitting on a road. Yeah, they were badass yarders. So, just there's, if the BU-98, if it had electronic hydro shift, 5-speed transmission, it could have done twice as much as it did, and that's what I'm saying with the changes, and that both errors could have used some of what each one of them had and would have helped, and good Lord, could you imagine the speed that Diamond's got with the power and the line size of the BU-98? Good Lord. You wouldn't have been able to keep up, hooking 4 and 5 of those things at a time, shipping them, and I'm talking 4 to 5 foot butts. I ain't talking 10, 12 foot butts, but, hooking 3, 4 foot logs and shipping them to the landing in 0.21 seconds and just, wow, and then they were fast, and same with the 208 Washingtons, they were screaming fast too, but that Diamond is scary fast. I wish I could get over and get some video of it, especially with them having the haul back on, because them drums, it's crazy fast. So, impressive. And there you go again, even for a little yarder, working on it, whether I was on the rigging or running it, there was a little bit of hype and energy and attitude with it when it started screaming too, because like I say, it was screaming fast, and that type of machine, it's light and fast. Once you put too much wood on it, they didn't have much power to pull, so you kept it light and kept it moving, and then you turn around and here's a 009 Medill had one speed, whether it was 15 feet off the landing or 1,500 feet off the landing. So you put the same size turn 1,500 feet out as you did 15 feet off the landing. 4 big butts, or whatever, because it just, but it pulled. So, you have to decipher in that. And like I say, with the Diamond, put 3, 12-inch tree length butts and scream it. Get 3 turns in the time that you'd get one if you hooked all, 4 of them or whatever. So, and like I say, these guys nowadays with the thinning, the smaller timber, moving more, good Lord, them big towers set in one spot for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13 months. Shoot, we're lucky if we get to set in the same spot for 3 weeks nowadays. So there's another day you're losing, more time, and that's the one thing in logging that you'll never get back. It's time. Stay safe, friends. Get logged, sounds. Come on.